Hey, guys. It's Z from Build the Business You Love. And today, guys, I have a good one for you guys today. As the title says, this one is really about you guys trying to find a space and trying to overcome the no's. It's going to be really short. I don't have slides or any type of imagery, that coincides with this video. But honestly, I just wanted to let you guys know that when it comes to looking for a space for an event-based business, it's getting difficult, right? We all see that landlords, as soon as they hear event space or anything event, they're like, oh no, mm-mm. Or even the realtors, right? If you go to the realtor, or in LoopNet when you call, or all those other places, Crexy, and you call them and they're like, no, I'm sorry, we want a real business here, right? And it's crazy that they're doing this, but honestly, they're doing it for a reason. It's because a lot of people think that this business is all the way passive, and it's really not a passive business. Yes, you can automate most things, right? But when it comes to dealing with people, when it comes to dealing with, crowds, okay, you need to have a intentional, proactive way of managing those things, okay? So, landlords have their own groups. Landlords have their own discussion panels and forums that they discuss, that when the topic of event space comes up, that they're like, oh, don't do this, don't rent to those people, don't have an event space in your shopping center. So, and it's because there's been a lot of issues, just Google event space fights, or violence in event spaces in your area, and something will pop up. Okay. um so because it has a higher chance of things happening, altercations, fights, things of that nature, landlords are less inclined to rent to event space owners, right? Especially if you don't know what you're doing, especially if you're new. So you need to come up with creative ways to overcome that. And one way that I see what people are doing is they're coming up with some creative terms. And it's fine to say, hey, it's an art studio that does events on the weekends. It's a co-working space that has events on the weekends, but you have to let them know that you're having events on the weekends, okay? I've seen people who end up in a really hard situation because they basically lied and said that they are renting for a different purpose, right? That they're renting for an art studio, right? And they didn't tell them they were going to have events during the weekends, right? And this can affect the landlord. This can affect the landlord's insurance. This can affect the way the landlord looks at you, right? It can affect your relationship with your landlord. You don't want that. You don't want, you being not transparent. I won't call it lying, but you're not telling the whole picture, right? And what happens is that now they don't trust you, and they can do things like terminate the lease because you violated the terms of the lease, if it's in the lease that you can't do anything other than what you said that you were going to do. And this is not like you having a hardware store and um you're selling hammers versus nails. No, it's still the same thing, right? It's still things that go inside of a hardware store. This is you telling them, hey, I'm having an art studio, and then you have people coming in, lots of people coming in, loud music. You have, crowds on the weekend. They have cameras, they have people that they send to see what you're doing, their maintenance crews or whatever, however they have their setup, right? It's not like you can hide these things. People are going to see that you're having events, right? I don't understand how people don't understand this. They're going to see that you're having events. They're going to see that you are, there's people outside in the parking lot, there's cars. Okay. That's not something that you can hide easily. So I want you to understand that, yeah, while you can get creative with the terminology, you can get creative with, how you put things, because I understand you want to get your foot in the door so that people at least hear your proposal and hear what you have to say. But you also have to be very transparent, okay? It's really important. I know someone right now, I just read something on a forum that they're in trouble. They're like, help. I told them I was doing an art studio and they found out I was having events, and now the landlord locked me out. Okay. Or the landlord is telling me that I can't have events. But guess what? You're still responsible for that lease, depending on how your lease is written up. Okay. And more times than none, it's written in the favor of the landlord. That's the landlord's lease. Okay. So, while you should be coming up with creative ways to get your foot in the door and so people can hear you, there's going to be a lot of no's. Yes, there's going to be a lot of no's. But if they don't want that type of business there, you don't want to have a business there being sneaky, trying to figure out ways to go around them finding out. Okay. So, it's important to just be really transparent. Okay. And I just kind of wanted to throw that video out there. I also wanted to throw out there that I do actually have a course that goes over things that can help with this situation when it comes to getting, or I should say, when it comes to, dealing with no's, when it comes to, trying to find a space, okay, when it comes to all that sorts of all those things. Because what happens is, people will say, oh, well, you know, it's a no, it's a no, but you can do things to combat it. Okay. There are ways that you can convince a landlord and tell them what they need to hear so that they trust you. Okay. So that they have a better understanding of what you're trying to do and a better understanding that, you're the person to do it, so that they have, you know, no doubt in their minds that you're going to be having parties at 3 in the morning, that this is a nightclub, that it's going to be liquor everywhere, there's going to be fights all night, right? So you have to kind of convince them and get them to rethink about the whole party industry or event industry, okay? Because it's turning into something different. At any rate, I have a course, guys, that within the course, I have a section called Let's Find a Space. And within Let's Find a Space, there is a section called, let me find it. So Let's Find a Space is huge, as you could see. But it's a section that is called Overcoming the No's. And when we talk about, like I said, overcoming the no's, it's really trying to get the landlord to see your potential and to see what you have going on, and to try to convince them that, you're not like everybody else who's trying to do this business, right? Because it's become a popular business. At any rate, this course right now is available. There's a link below. There is an introductory offer right now that I don't know how long I'm gonna have it going on for, but right now that's the price. Okay, with this offer code, intro 97 offer. But check it out, because I go into a lot about getting started, about getting funded, about finding a space, managing, marketing, operations, when things go wrong, because you're gonna have those days. Okay, and all of that stuff. So check out the course. The link is below, and don't lie about what you're doing. Okay, it's important to be transparent with your landlord. It's important for them to understand what you're doing, and for them to have a good for them to wrap their minds around what you're doing, because you have to think that they have a business plan as well, and you have to fit into their business plan. Okay, so anyway, I'm Z from Build a Business You Love. I hope this helps someone. All right, and I'll talk to you guys later.